Ladies, gentlemen, good afternoon. The topic is the topic assigned by Mrs. Su. Actually, I don't have the perfect data to share with you. So I'm going to brief you the members of the Asia Furniture Association. Currently, we have 10 member states: Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Korea, and Thailand, Taiwan, India. So, I'm going to brief you the status in the last year for those countries. For those countries, those member states, there's a very interesting phenomenon that they have a close relationship with China. For example, Japan, Korea. Last year, the export and the import centers around China, and also about 50% of the import comes from China. For some other Asian member states, the import mostly come from China, including Taiwan area. China ranks #1 in terms of the import or export for those countries. So this is a quite interesting trend. Many member states of this association have set up the close relationship with China. Let's look at Japan. According to the year 2009's report, Japan's overall production is about 16 billion US dollars, and export is accounting for 1/4. So Japan is quite strong. With such a high salary, Japan still has the redundant strength for export. 50% of the import comes from China. And China's furniture is accounting for about 30% of Japan's import. It is mainly the automobile chair and also office furniture. And for the Japan's office furniture, Kokuyo, Kalimoku, etc., those are the major brands exported to China. So China is accounting for 32% of the Japan's export. In terms of the material, all through to the end, there's no man involved in the process of the manufacturing. This is a man's production. Therefore, Japan has the redundant strength for the export to other countries, although the salary is so high. Although the year 2010 is roughly on a par with the year 2009, and I have the detailed figure to share with you. China procured the certain amount of the timber products from Japan, and also China is accounting for 51% of Japan's import. I think you can also refer to the data in your handbook. Then let's talk about Korea. The overall turnover is about 1.7 billion US dollars. 63% is the import, and export is accounting for 37%. In terms of the import and export, it is also similar to Japan. China is ranking #1 in terms of the import and export for Korea. The import mainly comes from China, accounting for more than 50%, and also the export to China is also accounting for 37% of the total. This is perhaps related to the automobile industry. Although Japan does not have a very good relationship with China, however, the trade relationship is quite tight or close. Malaysia is the furniture export country. Perhaps it is the largest furniture export country among Asian member states. The overall turnover is about 2.5 billion US dollars, and the import is only about 400 million US dollars. The Malaysian dining table products is the highest among all the exported products. They have very rich resources of the rubber timber from cutting, manufacturing, drying, preparing, and the furniture manufacturing, etc. They have the very much segmented process for different processing. The proficiency or efficiency of the production is quite high. Actually, I paid a visit to Malaysia to visit their production. I spent about 1 week for the survey of the manufacturing in Malaysia. And some people specialize in the leg manufacturing. Some people just specialize in the tabletop manufacturing. So it is quite segmented manufacturing or processing to further reduce the cost of the manufacturing. And for the automobile chair, it is about 12 US dollars. It doesn't include the cushion. I think this is very much related to the segmented manufacturing of Malaysia's timber production. The export mainly is to USA, and actually import is mainly from China. So China is accounting for 35% of the total export of Malaysia. Therefore, we can see that China has a very close relationship with Asian member states. Singapore is a very small country. The population is quite small, about 4 million population. Therefore, the export is also very small. For the timber manufacturing enterprises, they can't survive in Singapore. The import is only about 1.7 billion US dollars.
Accounting for 20%. And this is the transit trade. For example, China's export to Singapore, then Singapore just transship the goods to another countries. So Singapore, due to the confinement of the ecological issue and the high prices of the labor. Indonesia, Mr. Amber, my fellow colleague, will introduce to you about Indonesia. And he is the key figure in the furniture industry, International Furniture Association. Furniture export has accounted for 1.7 billion US dollars. And due to we know that the cost is very low, labor costs and also land acquisition costs is also very low. For example, for some oil timber in Indonesia. So this country has a very large potential to develop. And the tariff is very high. So mainly the exports are from Singapore. Then the export from Singapore to Indonesia has accounted for half. This is due to the hike of the tax. So later, our colleague will give you a detailed report. Thailand is a very special country in Asia. This country attaches great importance to design and also material. For example, oil, timber, rosemary, rosewood. Small batch is the key of the industry, and they do not advocate large batch of furniture. So export is also very high, around 100 million for the import. For export, around 1.1 exports in terms of US dollars. So China, the first one. The second is Malaysia, top 5 imports destinations. The 5 exports destination. First one is United States, then Japan, then United States. Now let's talk about Taiwan. Taiwan is very highly developed in its furniture industry. In 1960s or 70s, at the time, the forest industry has been well preserved. And now many people, many entrepreneurs, they just started their business in mainland China. And also the import and export is not so remarkable. Mostly the exports are iron products. So we know that manufacturers are very strong in Taiwan because the import demand is very low. Since the Taiwan market, the furniture market is already very strong. India is also one of our member countries, and this country has not supplied to us adequate data. But here we could see the import destinations: China, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Next year, we hope to make this report more detailed because we could have the coming board of another countries like Pakistan. China is not the former membership of this association, but China is the largest exporter of the furniture market, accounting for 1/3 of the world total. The total production is around 81,200. The unit is million. Oh, sorry, it should be 200 million. So around 337,224 million are exports. So the first one is is China. The next Japan. We have a long way to go. The import has increased by leaps and bounds. Each year, an increase of 34.2%. We could see Chinese total export is 138 billion US dollars. Among them, 37 billions belong to exports, and ranking the first. And also the import accounts for only 1.7 billion yuan. With the currency appreciation of RMB currency appreciation, the prices have been on the hike, and also this momentum will be affected, but it will be increased. We know with the urbanization is in parallel development. with development, with the economic development. So urbanization is in parallel development of industrialization. So if 100 million people come to cities, then we will have more market demand. So for example, each year we will have around 37 to 38% of increase in terms of the imports and exports, and the Chinese import will be maintained stable, and the exports will be affected due to the appreciation of RMB and also due to the price hike in some materials. Any questions? Thank you very much for listening.